Hi, we came back for the last recording of Monolithic versus Layered lecture. This is the last recording, the last video. It doesn't really have it doesn't have anything to do with directly, at least directly with Monolithic versus Layered. It's going to talk about communication gap between clinic and lab practitioners. But as I stated and established in the first video, communication, there is a gap of communication. And there is a lack of understanding even what is a dental lab, how does it work, where does the redos and repairs and repeats, why do we have to redo and repeat and repair much of the manufactured products or prostheses. I'm going to touch up on this real quick. Lack of information, what kind of classification does a dental lab have anyway, and communication. Real quick in like 10-15 minutes, but I think it's beneficial. And this is a continuous of the Monolithic versus Layered lecture, so I'm going to touch up and conclude with a couple of things that we discussed earlier. Okay, now let's watch this video first of all. So without communication, it's nearly impossible for any relationship to survive. I guess any relationship, okay, even a business relationship or whatever, clinic lab relationship, whatever it is, it's just to illustrate the importance of communication. And then, we work with patients and their time and their effort, and then they pay for the prosthesis, or even if the insurance pays or whatever, you're working with human beings, and then their time counts and easiness of life that you can give to them, especially if it depends on a little bit of communication between the dentist and the dental lab technician, or between the clinic side and the laboratory side. Let me just take a look at the rates of redos and repairs globally. Do we have any numbers? I couldn't really find much numbers, but for example, Glidewell Laboratory, which did not publish, as far as I know, the redos and repairs rates of its own, but I caught this from a blogger, I think, or from an article. Now, my problem is I read a lot and I save a lot, and then I forget where I got the information from. But Glidewell Laboratory, which is known to be the biggest laboratory in America, claims a 6% remake rate, according to Dr. Lee and Brady. All right. So you're talking about 6% remake rate. Now here, Dental Lab Network of American published a debate about the issue of redos and on their blog, stating that there were no firm statistics which I agree, on the subject, but indicates that it is widely believed to be around a 3% redo rate and an unspecified repair rate. Okay, so you're talking about 3%, 6%, whatever it is. Okay. Now, in 2014, Journal of Dental Education published the Louisville Experience Laboratory Quality Assurance Program. This was something, man. When I first read the whole details about it, it was something. 90% of impressions taken in the United States do not accurately reproduce the preparation of the margins. Okay? 65% remakes were due to limited or poorly written instructions on PFM crowns, and 25% of all fixed dental prosthesis remakes were due to the same reason, which is limited or poorly written instructions. All right? Communication. Can you believe how much communication is important according to these numbers? 65% of remakes, 25% of overall remakes, just due to communication, something that we can do and save ourselves the hassle, the effort, the time, the money, and everything. Now, 2014, the British Dental Journal conducted a 782 online questionnaire with a 32% response rate. This is actually good. People would think that 32% response rate is not good. It's actually good for a study. Out of 782 online questionnaires. Okay, the collected data as shown, 24% indicated that more than half of laboratory prescriptions had an insufficient amount of information. Again, 25% insufficient information, lack of communication. All right, 13% had to contact the dentist for further information, which is the right thing to do. I mean, even if you get, there's no excuse for getting a prescription that that's lacking information. But whatever, if you receive it as a dental lab technician, it's your duty to pick up the phone and talk to the dentist and ask them and send a WhatsApp or whatever, initiate any kind of communication channel between you and the dentist, and then don't go ahead and start working on the case without having enough information on the matter. All right, 13% had to contact the dentist for further information. 73% stated that a single shade, look at the numbers, 73% stated that a single shade was chosen for over half of the cases received from the same dentist. We call him the A2 dentist, all right? The B3 dentist. Don't you notice that some dentists, all their cases are B range or A range or D range, right? So more than half of the prescriptions had the same shade, A2 for example. Now 25% of dental technicians felt either rarely or not involved at all as part of the dental team. And this problem actually, it's on the shoulders of technicians as much as it is on the shoulders of doctors or dentists. I get calls, I get new accounts, we talk to the doctor, he sends you a full mouth without much information. You call for the shade, you call for the treatment plan, you call for everything. Fine, once the doctor gives you the answer, you tell him, doctor, thank you very much, now I have enough information, and by the way, this is the way we're gonna do our work together. Every good thing that I can give you is based on a piece of information that you gave me. So we're gonna do it this way. I'm not gonna proceed with cases until I contact you or until I get information whether by prescription, it's written down, or I call you or whatever. But in a nice way, the dentist will get that I am not proceeding with any case without information. And then, oh, I think I forgot to mention it's not exactly A2, it's A2, but cervically it's A3.5. Well, I should have known that before. So in other words, it's your responsibility as a dental lab technician, as much as it is the dentist's responsibility, to elevate the communication between the two teams, the clinic team and the lab team. At the end of the day, you are one team anyway. At the end of the day, the result is one prosthesis that go in the patient mouth. All right? So we have to do that. 68% of dentists allowed enough working time. I'm glad to hear that. Now, rates of redos and repairs globally. In a different study, Dr. Andreas Hatzikyriakos, I had to practice this name because I think he's Greek, right? Of Greece, concluded that many commercial dental laboratory technicians do not adhere to techniques and materials requested in prescriptions. I would say that he's 100% right. I don't know what is it with dental technicians, and I am a dental technician. I'm a master dental technician, actually. And I've been practicing for more than 15 years, as I established in the first video, but it's weird. It's like they do not want to stick to what's written in the prescription pad. Like A2, oh no, nothing is A2, let's make it A2 in the middle third, but incisally we'll make it A1, and then cervically we'll make it A3.5. But why would you do so? What if the tooth is just strictly A2, without much translucency and without cervical staining? Like, you have to have information to proceed to level up or to move from whatever is subscribed in the prescription to an extra step. Like, for example, a photo. You get a photo and you see, oh, there's yellow staining. The doctor supplied me with this photo to see that there's cervical staining. Okay, then it's A2 with cervical staining, and I see translucency, and I can mimic this translucency, and the photo is clear and everything is fine. So you mimic a little bit of your translucency. You have to have information to deviate or to alter with whatever the prescription is saying. Same thing. Like I've seen technicians done lithium disilicate instead of zirconia, for example, and telling me, well, it's the same price and then it's both metal free, so whatever. I'm pressing today lithium disilicate. Let's press everything lithium disilicate. Why would I give? Well, the dentist has to know lithium disilicate gets etched and it has a cementation protocol different than the zirconia, and regardless, how could you change something that's written down? I mean, it's illegal, it's unethical, it has all the problems in the world. Okay, you just shouldn't do that, and try to stick to whatever is written, whatever you receive, or let's say discuss it, not even argue it, discuss it. Doctor, I see that you asked for zirconia. I think in this zone, if you want my opinion, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or at the end of the day, you decide as a team between you and the doctor, but you don't go ahead and change and not tell the doctor and do things like that. And it comes to a very unethical dead end, actually. Or use metal or alloys that's not semi-precious for use, for example, nickel-free or non-precious for semi-precious, or semi-precious for white gold or whatever. This is very unethical and it's illegal, and I think that we should elevate ourselves and our levels way above this. All right, so yes, I don't know what is it. I'm a dental technician myself. I have many friends and practitioners who are dental technicians in my life, but I see this as a common problem, really. Maybe some of it the doctors helped in establishing this carelessness, let's say, but it's not an excuse. It's your job to do what you're asked, or to change it, or to refuse. If the doctor asks something that's very unethical, you can refuse. As simple as that. Well, doctor, I think that we should use zircon in this. I can't use this or that. I can't use, for example, I can't reuse the metal. I can't do this. I can't do that. Something that you're sure that it's unethical and you shouldn't do it, just refuse. As simple as that. But for you to change something from the original statement to something else, you have to have approval. You can't do it by yourself. Simple as that. Finally, 2015, the Laboratory Management magazine generated this study. I put this study in the first video, so there's no point of saying anything about it except for communication with them. The communication, 11% of the issues. Why the rates of why there's redos and repairs? You can say 11% of the challenges is communication again. And I showed a different study that says 47%, if I'm not mistaken, due to communication, lack of communication. And I showed right now many studies that say different numbers. Regardless what the number is, the average is there's a big problem due to lack of communication. And then another big problem due to lack of knowledge in dental laboratory materials, especially the newer materials. PFMs, we all worked with PFMs and we know PFMs. I hope that we know PFMs by heart. But the newer techniques, and dental lab materials, we need to educate ourselves about that, and we need to have the awareness of we need 41% for communication. That's what I was saying in the older study. We need to educate ourselves about new dental lab materials, and we need to level up and raise up the bars on communication between us. Now, why would a redo or a repair occur anyway? What's the possible causes of a redo or a repair, right? Lack of communication, we established that between dentist and patient, first of all, and then between dentist and dental lab technicians, if we want to talk about persons, or in the clinic environment between dentist, dental team in the clinic department, and in the clinic part and the patient, and then in between the clinic team and the lab team. Okay, that's lack of communication. Second possible cause would be no planning or team planning. There is information, but there is no planning or team planning. Sometimes I give you a bridge that doesn't look good. The reason it doesn't look good occlusally, because there is contact from the opposing, and there is over eruption, and then I didn't know that we will change the upper two, and I didn't ask, or the dentist didn't tell me, so I gave you a bridge that doesn't look good, because the occlusion of it looks like the letter U because of the over eruption, and I didn't ask and you didn't say, and at the end of the day that over erupted tooth was gonna come out, and then we were gonna restore the upper two. So why would we give the patient two bridges? That doesn't look good. All right, so that's what I mean by no planning or team planning between patient, doctors, and dental technicians. Inaccurate inputs. I put all the inputs in one form. Okay, it's a possible cause. Anything that comes, impression, registration bite, index, opposing, face pore registration, or digital impression scan that's not clear. Okay, and then, like I said, inaccurate inputs. Now, inaccurate processing and utilizing of the inputs. I got an impression, but I didn't pour it good. All right, I got a wax bite, but I distorted. Okay, so measurements, timing, properly following manufacturer's instructions, properly doing your job according to the book. Okay, you stick to the book in everything. That was 4. 5, which I really want to touch up on today, confusion about the type of industry a dental lab represents. You know, a dental lab, I couldn't find, let's say, what exactly is a dental definition, like a definition of a dental lab. So I came up with my own, kind of, you know, I just looked around and I came up with this. It's a custom-made biocompatible light industry manufacturing. All right? Custom-made. Anything that's custom-made, you know, unique mold and processing for each product. It's not like a mold of a cup. You pour 1,000 cups out of that mold, or a mold of a ring, you know, you manufacture 1,000 rings of that mold. No, it's a custom made. So there is a special mold, a special cast for each patient, and a special crown that only fits number 25. It doesn't fit number 26, doesn't fit number 24. It's a precise fit, custom made only for that one tooth, for that one patient. Okay, and it's measured by microns. Anything above 120 microns, it's a leak of cement. It's not acceptable. It has to be sealed. Everything has to be perfect. Okay, almost perfect, near perfect. We can do occlusal adjustments. We can do a little bit of adjustments, but margin wise and fit and this stuff, it has to be near perfect by microns. Okay, so it's a custom made. Biocompatible means biochemically and biomechanically. All right, bio by itself means biology, right? So it goes in the patient mouth. That's why here, like I said, in this part of the world, in Qatar and Jordan and other places in the Gulf area, in the Middle East, we have to have medical license. I have a medical license, and I have to renew my medical license, and I have to take 40 CME credits every year to renew my license. We renew our license once every 2 years, so we need 80 CME credits. We can take 40 of the CME credits online, and we have to attend 40 CME credits every 2 years. The total would be 80 CME credits every 2 years. And I do lecture, and people who attend my lectures, I have lectured many times, like more than, I don't know, about 15 times. Every time there's a set of CME credits that you take. This lecture, monolithic versus layered, it takes a whole day because we take breaks and everything, and it gives 7.75 exactly CME credits to the attendees, whether they are dentists, dental technicians, nurses, dental assistants, hygienists. That's it, these 5 categories, okay? I think I think some of my lectures, like communication skills, was open for more, for medical nurses and doctors and others, okay, of the medical team. But anyway, so you're talking about, you have to realize that this goes in the patient mouth. There's an interoral cavity. Is this compatible with the patient mouth? Is it gonna cause allergies? Is it gonna cause, is it poisonous? Is it and it comes into many forms. What kind of flux do you use? What kind of metal do you use? How do you polish the metal? Is this how do you polish the porcelain? How do you glaze? You realizing that this goes in the patient mouth, you know. So biomechanically and biochemically. Now, biochemically means compatible with the patient oral cavity, components, tissue, enamel, etc. Chemically proven materials such as alloys, acrylics, porcelains, you know, not to use porous materials, material that will develop problems for the patient, give them traumatic or allergies, you know, or does damage on the long term. Biomechanically, incorporating biomechanics, okay, biomechanical measurements into the manufacturing prosthesis, including vertical dimension of occlusion, mandible movements, taking into consideration the material hardness and other physical properties. All right, we're still in the definition of a dental lab. What's a dental lab? Light industry manufacturing, because we use various light industry equipment: furnaces, centrifuge casting machines, CAD cams, drills, high-speed turbines, high-speed handpieces, compressors, etc. And it's a bit more commercial than what's in the clinic, because we work on even the CAD cam in the clinic is a tiny unit, but over here it's really a manufacturer size, because, you know, we have much more bulk and production than a single clinic, because we serve like 20-30 clinics, whatever. So in other words, you see there's many things that comes into the dental lab. It's a custom made. Anything that custom made, the redos and repairs are higher in a custom made, because you have to pay good attention to fine details, right? So just by being a custom made manufacturing, that will cause that'll make the cause of redos and repairs possible. More, there's the risk of redos and repairs are more, but we should try to control as much as possible. We will discuss that. Then biocompatible, you're limited. You can't use this flux, you have to use that flux. You can use this, you have to use that. This has to go dental approved, not just manufacturing, like any torch, any metal, any casting. No, you have to have you know, the right polishers, the right everything, because you will find polishers and greenstones and all kind of abrasives and all kind of handpieces and everything that goes with other industries, not with what you are doing, okay? If you use it, you will contaminate your porcelain. You have many problems, all right? Same thing, I've seen, one of the amazing things that I've seen in my world is a type of glaze that's not for dental, and people use it, and it has a certain way of applying it, and I don't know how porous that glaze is, or what does it do. Does it really seal the porousness of the ceramics? I don't know, and I don't want to know. I don't want to use it. I just want to use things that's specifically for this dental field, and the best out of it, actually, not just any glaze, like the best that I can try and use, all right? Light industry manufacturing, we said that, you know, in an industry, there is always a chance of repeat and redo. So let's take this as an example. Say that this is a conventional porcelain fused to metal. Okay, this is a porcelain fused to metal, done the conventional way. No CAD cam, nothing. Just wax up, casting, opaque, build up your porcelain, finish it up, give it to the doctor. Let's understand the variables. This is number 6. Number 5 was the kind of business we are in, which is confusion about the type of industry and dental lab. Okay, we try to define the dental lab. Now here 6 is understanding the variables. We have much variables, I would say, and then the end result has to be in microns, right? Let me give you an example. Take this 3-unit BFM bridge an example. Is the patient mouth variable or is it a set? Could something change after preparation? Absolutely. Patient's mouth is variable. Things could change. The gum, if the temporary is pushing the gum, whatever. Many things can change from the initial impression that you took a week ago. All right. Impression materials. What happens to all kind of impression materials on Earth? They all shrink. No matter how soon, no matter if they're rubber or they're alginate. The end of the day, they do shrink. Okay? By a little bit. By too much, it's not my concern now, but they do shrink. How about gypsum materials? You poured your model. All gypsum materials expand as an end result. There is initial sit, and there is final sit, and there is an expansion keeps going. And there was a test run by Peter Beasy, if I'm not mistaken, about the expansion, the final expansion. When does it stop? And he kind of invented or did his own gauge, and he measured that. They say final sit after 45 minutes or 1 hour, but he kept measuring, and he stopped the experiment at 24 hours, and there was expansion still. Okay, it's true that after 45 minutes or after 1 hour, the percentage of expansion is very minimum, but it exists. I want you to know that it does exist. So in other words, after final sit, which is say 1 hour, and then you work on the model, it's a bit more accurate than working on the model Monday. If you poured it Friday and you didn't work on it Saturday, Sunday, and then you worked on it Monday. So that's a variable too, and there's expansion in all gypsum materials. Wax and plastics, shrinkage, right? Investment materials, expansion. Molten metal, well, molten metal after solidification there is shrinkage. And then porcelain firing, up and down, up and down. Every time it goes up in the furnace and down, there's expansion, shrinkage, expansion, shrinkage, and you know. So you're talking about many variables. For me to show, let's just do it again. Patient mouth, variable. Impression materials, shrinkage. Gypsum materials, expansion. Wax, shrinkage. Investment, expansion. Molten alloy, shrinkage. And then porcelain firing, up and down, shrinkage and expansion. Now look at this to understand the variables. The wax pattern and everything, whatever. Look at this. Undersize, oversize, dimensional changes. Impression, there's shrinkage. Pouring dye, there's expansion. Not the same. All right. Waxing, expansion, shrinkage, expansion. End result, shrinkage. All right. Investing, expansion, burnout, much expansion, and then casting, based on solidification, goes back to shrinkage, and then the total change. I don't know what kind. How did they base their? This was part of a study, but they didn't mean. How did they base these? What did they base these numbers, this chart on, or these statistics, or this diagram on? But the end result is a bit of expansion, not to be more than 120 microns as we established by the margin area. But what I wanted from this is just the dimensional changes. There is much variables in our work. Things could go wrong if you have too much expansion in the investment. And I can't go in details now talking about each kind, because I have another 7 CME credit lecture. It's called Dental Lab Materials. It's about 7 hours. I don't know if I'll have a chance to record it too. You guys comment in the comments and tell me if that's something that you want to hear. But it will talk in details about impressions, pouring, waxing, investing, burnout, casting, all the problems, all the shrinkage and expansion, how to control it, even with CAD cams and with the intraoral scanners, and the differences. I have a good lecture about dental lab materials. Let's see if I can put it up. Okay. So what's the role of a dental assistant? The reason I ask about dental assistants, but because many times we get calls from dental assistants, and I think we should target dental assistants just like we target dental technicians and doctors to elevate the communication level. Okay. How much of redos and repairs due to lack of communication can be avoided? Very much. Very much. Are you a good communicator? Honestly, do you remember the zero misunderstanding approach, or zero miscommunication obligation? Do you remember that? zero miscommunication obligation that we talked about in the first video of this series. Now, I can't really put Zahn and Glidewell data research. This has to be maybe with dental lab materials. I will, the next lecture, maybe I will touch upon the Zahn and Glidewell dental data research. Now, in closing, being more knowledgeable makes it easier, faster, better quality, more accurate, more rewarding, makes it a more pleasurable experience and less hassle on both sides. I couldn't find this in English, so I put it in Spanish. Técnico-dental combinación perfecta entre manos y cerebro. I guess it means that a dental technician is a good combination between hands and brains. It's just not just hands, not just brains. You have to educate yourself and limit. This is some of the lectures, some of the sources that I've used, but I've used much more than that, but I didn't include it here. Do you remember what was this about? If you saw the whole videos, you should remember this was, okay, zero, everything is fine. It was about miscommunication. This was my father asking me questions. This was about the grills, remember? The guy who got it made. This was the snap-on, number 3 of monolithics. This was the big block of lithium disilicates. And this was the zircads from Emax. And this was Prime, which is a mixture of 5 yttrium stabilized zirconia and 3 yttrium stabilized zirconia, zirconium molecule, casting of monolithic abutment, types of alloys, and this porcelain fused to metal, not a tooth though, for a change. And this, remember this, it was a fully pressed or a feldspathic 2 veneers, and the difference between them, they're from the same family. This was which tooth is fake, and this was the one crown next to the veneer, and this was the printed zirconia, printed, not milled, and this was comparing oranges to apples in comparison between monolithic and layered. Answer the following questions with yes sir or no sir. Who is the president of China? You guys remember that? In the video of miscommunication, George Bush and Condoleezza Rice. Who is this? That's me actually. And that's it. I guess if you guys want my contact information, this is my contact information. My name is Bilal Saleh, Master Dental Technician. This is my information. Bilal Saleh MDT. That's my Facebook, that's my Instagram, and my YouTube channel. And my Snapchat actually. But the only thing I really check is Facebook and Instagram. I check sometimes, and on the YouTube channel you'll find my videos if you're interested and keep watching videos about dental field, especially as a dental technician or even as a dentist. I will talk about dental lab materials soon. I will talk about communication details, communication skills between dentists and dental lab technicians, how to elevate it, and how to use the newer e-labs and all kind of photography and all kind of stuff. I will talk about zirconia evolution, and I will talk about there's many things that I can talk about. I will talk about dental lab management, how to manage your dental lab for it to be successful, beneficial, you make money, and it's successful, and you reinvest, and you be top of the line and working towards your success all the time. How to work on yourself, how to elevate your knowledge, all kind of this stuff, hopefully in the future. Please don't forget to subscribe and like on the YouTube channel, and on the Facebook send me friend requests. I have almost 5,000 friends so far, but I'll make space, and I would like to have more technicians and dentists, because I benefit from what they post, and I like to have friends from the field. No problems. And then this is my direct number with WhatsApp. You can always shoot me a WhatsApp, and if you have questions or something to clarification. But regarding these videos, I will be answering in the comments, or I will make one more video to answer all of the questions in the comments of the different different parts of the video. This same lecture has been given in Arabic too. So you will find on my YouTube channel 2 playlists, one in Arabic and one in English. And I think we're gonna make one more in French. and hopefully one in Spanish. Okay, but for now there's one in Arabic, one in English. Make sure you click on the one in English if you want to hear it in English, and keep going in order. I think I put them in order anyways. Thank you very much. I appreciate that you have listened to all of this. I hope that you've learned something, and I hope that that I aided somehow in achieving our goal of always elevating ourselves up high towards our goals. Thank you very much.